Will Day was like pick 11 or pick 12. I want to say they finished ninth.
I think he was pick 13.
Right.
I'll do some research on that.
I know that because I did a video on this. Hawthorn finished ninth the year they got Will Day. So it's funny, like you might think, okay, Hawthorn have done their time at the bottom of the ladder, and this is the natural correction of hard drafting.
I agree with you.
It's the trades and the late drafting that they've done, and obviously game plan, culture, coaching, those things really cap it off.
I totally agree with you. I mean, you look at their best players.
Oh, Dylan Moore, pick 72 or 67, I think, or something like that.
Will Day pick 13.
13, there you go.
Yep.
Great selection, by the way, because that was another bolt and also a player that was not a fully formed midfielder when they drafted him.
This is actually this draft is a really good conversation. We've got about 50 seconds to go.
2019?
The third, 2019. So very interesting. Okay, so Matt Rowell, Noah Anderson at the top. Luke Jackson at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Lockie Ash at 4.
Mm-hmm.
See, this goes under the radar with a Sydney, right? They drafted Dylan Stevens at pick 5 in that draft. And then it goes Fisher McCasey, who leaves the game. Like, I feel like that's harsh on Adelaide.
Yes, yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Leaves the game. Hayden Young, epic for Freo. Caleb Sarong, 8. Liam Henry, 9. So they went triple threat there. Tom Green at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Flanders, 11.
Stacks up now.
Keziah Pickett at 12.
That was a bolt too, to their credit. Yeah. From memory, he sort of came from the clouds to be picked that high.
Right.
A great selection.
That's incredible. I'm just having a look what we've got there in that. Will Day, 13. Miles Bergman.
You know he and Miller Bergman are not brothers? Did that come up on this stream?
It did.
Okay, yes.
And I was like, no, that can't be right.
Yeah, I was like, they're clearly brothers. They have both called Bergman and they're from big country, both of them.
Yeah, and they're both blonde.
Yeah. I was like, are you serious?
But it's like they're from different towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That is. Cody Waitman, 15. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at Dylan Stevens and Fisher McCasey, like, obviously.
Another player who's injured for the Bulldogs too, right? Waitman?
Yes.
Is he injured? Yeah.
He's currently out. Cooper Stevens, pick 16.
So that was the pick we traded for Tim Kelly. So as a side note, that gets blown up way too much for being part of the reason we were here, but we can keep going.
Okay. Brody Kemp, pick 17 to Carlton.
That was my 24th Eagles reference.
Sam De Koning, pick 19.
Damn. Not bad.
It gets a little bit like I'm going down through it after that. Trent Rivers, pick 32. Charlie Comben, pick 31.
We could have had Rivers.
Josh Worrell, 28.
Damn.
There is a...
Cam Jamison, pick 49.
Yes.
Was it? Did I get the pick right?
Yes.
Wow. I
49.
need a girlfriend.
Hugo Ralph Smith, pick 46. Chad Warner, pick 39.
Yeah.
So how does Sydney pick Dylan Stevens at pick 5 and Chad Warner at pick 39?
It's arguably, premierships are arguably built on what you do with those later picks rather than the top picks.
For sure.
I mean, that's a pretty throwaway comment, but it's true though, I reckon.
My question to you here, who is the best player from this draft? I actually think this is a really difficult question.
It's a pretty even pool, to be honest. Like a lot of good players. We've got, to pick the guys who are genuinely good players. Rowell and Anderson are genuinely good players, I would say.
I'll just quickly ask the chat too, like put yours in.
Yes,
who do you think, who's your best player?
Great call.
And we'll kind of talk about this, but Jesse's going to go.
Luke Jackson, genuinely good player.
Yep.
Lockie Ash, good player. Is he genuinely good?
He actually is having a really good season this year.
I'd say he's good, not genuinely good.
Yes. Yep.
Just as a completely abstract, made up definitions. Hayden Young, genuinely good. Caleb Sarong, genuinely good. Tom Green, genuinely good.
There's two players in this draft pool for me that I think are potentially the two best players. It's Hayden Young and it's Will Day.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But their body issues are making me go, do you have to consider that in the ceiling of them?
Rowell also has some, to some extent, doesn't he? Or maybe he's over those.
I think he's over them now. Yeah. Like he had the knee.
Yeah, he did a knee against us in round 1, I reckon, 2021. That's going back some time, geez.
Right.
That's how you know you're getting old. years just go by like that.
Okay, here's the argument. Here's the players. Woody says that Chad Warner and Sarong are the only AAs.
I forgot Chad Warner was coming. I would put Chad Warner right in the top of this bucket, which is not how a bucket is looked at.
He's definitely in the upper echelon. I'm going, okay, so like for me, interestingly, because Caleb Sarong is AA, he's not in the top bracket for me.
I understand.
I understand.
I've had 3 beers.
I
understand those words coming out of your mouth.
I think for me, it's out of Noah Anderson.
Okay.
Hayden Young.
Yeah.
Will Day. And Chad Warner.
Agreed, but I would also show some love to Luke Jackson because Drewsy's not here because of his 3 skin.
If he was, though, he'd be happy with Hayden Young.
Yeah. I don't disagree on Hayden Young, but Luke Jackson as well is just so far off being in the prime of his career for a tour.
That is correct. Yeah. I suppose that also comes into, like, that's what, do you go, what have they done so far?
Yeah.
Or do you still bring that potential into it a little bit as well?
Yeah.
That's where, like, I said Hayden Young and Will Day. Like, Will Day, agreeably, has just not been able to play enough football to be, like, considered the best player in this draft. Yeah. But I think he probably is. I think if I know that I'm getting... But I've just realised that I've forgotten one player that I actually think that should be in this conversation, and that's
Cooper
Pickett.
Stevens.
No. Yes. It's definitely Fisher McCase. No, it's Pickett.
Yeah.
Pickett's incredible.
I always have a little bit of a bias on position. We discussed this a little bit the other night when you came over.
Talk to us
sounded weird for some reason.
When you
I would always take a role goal midfielder over or a key position player over the small forward. But no denying he is the top.
Why
tier.
is that though?
I think that they're more valuable in building a premiership list. I think more premiership teams, if you run the diagnostics, comprised of more premiership midfielders and key position players. Elite midfielders. Like it feels like you couldn't have a premiership team without at least a couple of role goal midfielders.
I agree with that. So I agree with that.
And I feel like that's less true of small forwards.
I feel though, like a lot of teams build a list that has those rolled goal midfielders. But like for all the team, like every premiership team probably has to have a couple of those. But there's also a bunch of other teams that have really good midfields in the comp that don't do anything because their list is like disbalanced overall.
Yeah.
Whereas, like again, like you look at Brisbane having those like killers in front of the ball, Rayner, Bailey, Cameron Lohman, like that was the thing for me that won them the premiership.
Yeah, that's a pretty good argument you've made. I just feel like it's probably the cream and cake argument, right? The age-old cream and cake argument. What comes first? No, I think it's to some extent it's true though. I think you can probably go further with an elite midfield who lacks polish than say a lot of polished players but no cake.
Are you saying polished or polish?
When you polish a cake, right?
Polish. I was I heard Polish players.
Yeah, that's why Myercheck is the first player I would take. I think he's Polish. He might not be. It could be Ukrainian.
Croatian.
Far out. Is there Kazitsky? No.
Kazitsky could be Polish.
I think that's Polish.
That could be like a Ukrainian-Polish
hybrid. Yes, I know though. Like because it doesn't.
Kolodjasny is Ukrainian.
Is it?
Yeah, but it's like Ukrainian-Polish, like borderland territory. Why are we talking about this?
Andrew Embley was Burmese.
We've diverted here.
Yeah.
There is plenty of conversation about this. Okay, so people saying Tom Green.
Yeah.
People saying Chad Warner. Rowell is such a gun, important cog in the machine. But yeah, Chad Warner actually. That's what Fight Explosion said.
Yeah.
Tom Green. And I'm taking Anderson.
Rowell is the cake, and then someone like a Cozzy Pickett is probably like the varnish that you put on the cake.
How much do you look at? Yeah. How much do you look at with these guys? Like, if you do the kind of the game of like making 18 individual roles of like, okay, Matt Rowell, for example, he's like, to me, he like actually plays a portion of his game as being that kind of defensive mid.
Mm-hmm.
This year, like, there's an argument he's probably broken away from that a little bit, and he's more of just a getter. But like, he's probably the best at that role where he can like be a bit of a defensive cog in the midfield. He's also like a big clearance player, and he's got like a bit of a burst. So like, I feel like if you're just operating on that, like that one position inside the midfield, he's probably clear of anyone else that plays the role. Whereas like your Chad Warner midfielder, for example, I don't know, like you're really good on the ball midfielder, like an Anderson or a Warner, those types of players that use
Gordon,
the footy. Yeah. Like there's probably more of them on some level. Or sorry, like the difference between the best and the fifth best is not as, or it's not as big.